We are going to start this half hour here with a closer look at the race for 2024. Joining us, of course, our ABC White House correspondent, MaryAlice Parks, and NPR White House correspondent and ABC News contributor, Asma Khalid. Welcome to you both. Good morning. MaryAlice, let's start with you because there is a lot of energy right now around Kamala Harris, right? Is this just a honeymoon, though? That's what a lot of people are wondering.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it's only been 1 week, but how remarkable. 1 week. In 1 week, the Democrats have gone from the party in crisis to the party with momentum. She raised over $100 million in a matter of days. Her campaign is boasting of 30,000 new volunteers. But yeah, some of this will come back to earth. I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs now. How does she handle the pressure? Does she actually have any crossover appeal to those swing voters? Or are those swing voters just going to be put off by all of this whiplash? And of course, there's going to be fresh scrutiny on everything she's ever said. But I do think it's important to note that that could kind of cut both ways. I think some of her more progressive comments in the past about health care, immigration, the border might be off-putting to some of those swing voters, but they also could further energize the progressive base. There's a lot of ways to get voters out, a lot of ways to win an election.
And the fact that it's just about 100 days left.
I mean, if there's any time to get hot, it is helpful for Democrats right now.
And Asma, let's bring you in now. How are Republicans adjusting to this new reality and this new opponent?
Yeah, well, there are reports that leaders in the House, Republican leaders in the House, have told fellow Republicans to knock off any racist or sexist attacks on the vice president. They want to make this race, particularly in key competitive congressional districts, about policies, not about personalities. And, I was really struck by this because this is a remarkably different tone from Republican leaders than you might have seen a decade ago. And I would say it's for two reasons. One is that Republicans are clear-eyed that the electorate, that the population of this country has changed. You look at census data and the population of people under 18 is majority not white. The other concern I think they have is that it could really energize the base of the Democratic Party if they do make overt racist and sexist attacks. And frankly, you already got a glimpse of that this week. There were a bunch of Zoom calls for Harris, white women for Harris, black women for Harris, organizing calls and big fundraising calls to bring in money for the vice president.
And so, MaryAlice, something else that was interesting this week, we see Harris wearing two separate hats. She's the vice president and the head of the party. So how's that going to play out? We already saw her making separate statements from President Biden at times.
Right. I think that was really fascinating on Thursday. I asked the White House National Security spokesperson, John Kirby, about the fact that she had her own meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. He really dismissed it, said it was just a scheduling thing. But then she came out of that meeting and gave her own remarks to reporters. She spoke very forcefully about the suffering the Palestinian people have been going through during that conflict. She said, "I will not be silent." So interesting to see if in the next few months she essentially starts to run a bit of a shadow administration. How do foreign leaders deal with this? How does President Biden deal with this? Does he start to encourage her to look more presidential in this way? Does he start to get ruffled by it? It's just really a sign of how unusual this moment is.
Absolutely. And Asma, let's talk about the Veep stakes now because Kamala has not yet chosen her running mate. What's the latest there?
Well, there are four names that we keep consistently hearing about, the most likely, I would say, on this short list. They are all white men, moderate Democrats. Three of them are governors. That's the governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, and then a senator from Arizona, Mark Kelly. Democrats are very eager to balance out the ticket and broaden their appeal to voters. And that's on race, that's on gender, and also, frankly, it's based on attacks that they're already seeing from some Republicans accusing Vice President Harris of being, in their words, a radical liberal from California. It is a noticeable difference, I would say, from what we've seen of Trump doubling down with his pick of J.D. Vance.
Absolutely. We also know that this race will be decided by a handful of battleground states, so that pick could be critical. Thank you so much, Asma. MaryAlice Parks, as always, we appreciate it.